All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Happy Thursday. What a day today. So before we get started, let me get this tweeted out here so everybody can join in. 1 second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Happy Thursday. What a day today. Well, good. Well, I hope everybody is doing well and healthy today. So again, this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be finishing our discussion this week on day trading bearish continuation patterns. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the falling three methods. So the falling three methods is an interesting one. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. But before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, good. So let's get started. Let's kind of see where we wrapped up in the market here. So this is the monthly chart, right? And so the monthly chart here is telling us a lot. We're halfway through the month, and wow, what a candle we've had so far on the SPX. I mean, just a huge range so far, right? Bigger than what we saw back in December and October of 2018, which led to that down move to the 50 monthly moving average. Remember, this is our line in the sand for a bear market, right? It just is what it is, right? So if we finish this month and stay below the monthly 50 moving average, we are in bear range. Now, what is also interesting is we're getting an expanded Bollinger Band on this too, which would imply more volatility on the way, more big price movement, right? So it really seems like here that we're just kind of starting the move, which is really kind of crazy. So we'll see how that all plays out. From there, we've got the weekly chart, right? We talked about this, the 30 weekly moving average. This is a good change of composure area. We saw back in that 2018 down move. Once we got under here, we pushed down, right? And that kind of gave us that indication to a longer move to the downside. We started to see a magnified version of this this last breakdown, right? We had a big candle right here, followed by an inside week, and then another down week, and then some chop for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, right? And then we started to move back down again, and now we're getting the same thing, but it's magnified, right? We're starting to see this, this type of magnification right here of those candles, right? And so what it's doing is it's projecting a bigger move to the downside, and so we're starting to see that possibly, right? So this candle right here would represent this candle, right? And so you can see here the movement of this is like 2 to 3 times the distance we've traveled already just in today's this week's candle, right? So we could be seeing a possible move down the 2000 or even the mid thousands on this market, just depending, and it's not unreasonable, right? So we're in this horrible period right now in the world where this virus is going around, and it's got it's widespread, it's very contagious, and it's just affecting everything, right? And we're starting to see more things happen today, right? So, the Major League Soccer team, shut down. Major League Baseball, hockey, right? Golf, right? All these major sports, events are now canceled, right? And or probably will be. So, so if it's just sports, it's affecting businesses too. It's going to affect a lot of things. So, we're starting to see that. I mean, the market is trying to price it in right now, but each new event that comes out is pushing the market even lower. So that's what we're seeing here. So we see the SPX again. We had a big push down today. At this point, we'll take a look at the futures here. We're really heavily targeting that pivot level right here. Now we may chop around this area a little bit, but if it gets below there, then we've got some some scary stuff below, right? 2300 is the next level below that, and then and then it could keep going. So we just have to keep an eye on this, right? So yeah, so that's where we're at right there. Let's take a look at the price action today. I mean, so despite the the ominous part of it and the the fear that the market is experiencing right now, there are tradable opportunities and able to take advantage of that. So, so let's take a look and see. So, here's the 15-minute time frame right here. Neil, what's going on? So I see you there. Is anyone else here? I know. Well, hopefully we'll get some folks to join in. So sometimes folks join a little bit later. So, it is Thursday, and folks are, it's been a long week. So we had a big, we got halted again today, another historic day today. So we got down, we halted, right, and then we off of that halt down, we pushed, right. So they flushed it a little bit below there, and then it came back up. So this is very, very similar to what it did on Monday, where we came down, pushed down a little bit, and then we came back up a little bit, right. So that's exactly what we saw today. Almost kind of predicted. We just didn't move as much. We stayed within. We had one green candle, and that was it. Then a double inside 15 up a little bit. Then another Mariposa candle here, which led down, and then this was a nice little area right here. A few folks in our group caught a nice triangle right here for a break to the upside. We saw this on SPX, Apple, and a lot of other ones here. So Okay, good, good, good. All right, so we popped it there. And then we had a big upper shadow right here and then worked our way down. So we ended up closing down bearishly below the 15 orb and are continuing to get more downside action. So let's take a look. Let's look at the levels here. These are these are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, so we know where we're going each day or what levels might get tested. Right. So you can see here, this range right here was very, very well tested. We got this push up to the S2, S3 levels. Right. So we tested a daily and weekly level right here. It came back down really quickly off of it, and then we closed down below. And there's not much below there. So below that, right, we have we basically just have to use those support levels, from December and things like that. So very, very interesting stuff. So let's take a look at the futures and see what we're up to right now this evening. So let's take a look and see. So so futures are down 55 points. All right. So again, the move continues, right? So this is from back here earlier here. Here's your trend line here tonight. So again, the futures are below the trend line. We're at the lows. We just hit 2,400. We're down 2% right now. So another 3%. The futures get halted again, right? So we'll see if that happens again into Friday. If it does, then we probably get a halt at the open again. We wait 15 minutes and then we see what the market does from there. So that's where we're at right now. It's a little bit. The volume is not as big as last night, right? Last night we had Trump speaking in the middle of the night, so that gave a little bit of a boost, right, into the in the volume last night, but we're not really seeing that right now. So now it's just kind of, the market's kind of drifting down a little bit. So we'll see how that holds tonight. 2,400 is going to be a key psychological level too to hold. So hopefully that holds as well. Okay, so that being said, let's conclude our series today by going over the final method right here, the final bearish continuation pattern, and that is the falling three method. So the falling three method, you guys have heard of this, before, I'm sure. It is, and I think we may have talked about it previously. So one of the things about it is this is a highly probable move to the down, 71% chance of continuation to the downside. So what is the falling three method? So the falling three method is this. The falling three method is a 5 candle setup, right? It starts with one red candle, and then you get 3 candles inside, certainly real bodies, right, inside the first falling candle, and then another candle that kind of takes those out again, and that gives you, in a downtrend essentially, and then continuation to the downside. So why is that? Why psychologically does it do that? So you had a bearish candle right here, and then they tried to squeeze and and get out of that trade, and then it just kind of wiped anybody out who was in that opportunity to go long, and then basically just flushed them out of it, and then it gets that continue. They dump their shares, and then you get that continuation to the downside. Then the bears jump in, and they're like, hey, look at this, a falling threes method pattern, and they work on that. Okay, so the one thing about this, it is a very highly probable, you can understand that from the psychology of it, a highly probable chart setup. The only issue with it is very rare. So it seems like it's common, right, because it's a common name and all that stuff, but it's a rare setup. So and it just is, and it's hard to find it on the daily. I did a lot of work trying to just go back over the last couple months to try to see if I could find something like this on the daily, and it was pretty tough, right? So if you look, I mean, even this candle right here is pretty close, right? So the so you can see this one right here. This is an inside candle, but it was red, right? So this is essentially a falling three method right here. In fact, it's really, really close, right? So you can see this here on the S&P futures. So you have a red candle right here. I know it looks yellow, and then you have 1, 2, 3 inside, right? And then you have a red candle taking those out. Right, makes sense, right? And then we flush below that, right? And we've definitely been downtrend. So here's your downtrend move, here's your setup right there, and there's your follow through the downside. So we did see that here on the S&P futures today on the 15-minute chart. So you see these, you don't see these so much on the daily, but you do see them on the on a little bit of these kind of longer intraday time frames, right, where the candles can get a little bit bigger. So the 15 and then the 30, what I found is on the 30, you can find them too. So one other example I want to show you guys is Win. So Win did this not too long ago. So let's pull it up here. Okay, so this is on the 30-minute time frame. So let's take a look at this. So just not too long ago, let's take a look. Where were we? It was actually a classic setup right here. So this is nice, right? So you can see it right here. We were downtrending. Okay, So I mean, obviously we were downtrending. This thing has been in a massive downtrend, right? So we're downtrending right here. We get to the open. You'll see this a lot at the open because you get those big candles. So if you end up, getting this candle right here, and then it tries to work its way out on the 30-minute time frame, you can see right here we had it. So here's your first candle right here, right? Nice, nice red candle. Then you have 1, 2, 3 candles that are trying to rise, right? 3. Yeah, it's kind of weird it's falling, but here's your 3 rising then falling method right there. 1, 2, 3, and then you have this one taking out those candles right there, and then you get nice follow through to the downside, just like on Win right here. So nice continuation pattern to the downside. So you have 99 all the way on 95, so a 4-point move off of that intraday. So this almost did like a falling twos method right here, right? So basically a bear flag. Between these two candles. So good stuff, guys. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. This is a cool method. I think it's a good topic that we talked about this week, since we are basically in a bear market right now, and so and we're seeing a lot of downside movement. So trying to catch these different moves, these candles, to try to switch we're so used to looking for long setups over 2016 all the way through just not too long ago, just a couple weeks ago, the massive bull market. So we just kind of have to start to train our eyes to look both ways to try to find the bearish setups as well. So and since we're moving down, we may as well find some stuff that gives us a high probability for continuation to the downside. So good stuff. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so everybody can get a good night's sleep and get rested and be healthy for another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. Anil, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Really appreciate it. So chart request now. Let's look at, I want to see it now. So let's take a look at that one. All right, let's pull it up here. Let's go to the daily. I didn't get an email from Shirley tonight. Let me just double check and see if she sent anything through. Not too much there. I mean, it's been a lot of folks who are typically bull traders, right? Or a lot of them are sidelines during this move down. It's like oh my goodness, this thing's still going, type of stuff. So that's what we're seeing here. So now, wow, what we saw a lot of these candles today, guys. Like these continuation, these momentum shooting star candles to the downside. Very, very bearish, right? A lot of increased volume. Just the only risk of it is the high volatility, right? That's kind of the main thing. So a lot of these closed at close to their lows today with a big upper shadow when it tried to rally, and then some increased volume. So guys, this is some classic setups to the downside, right? So shooting stars with increased volume. So momentum shooting stars. So here we are. We're below the 200-day moving average right here on now, and it is looking pretty bearish. Some increased volume right here. And the next level down we see is it's kind of like right at these levels right here. The next level down that it could, other than tagging these guys, the next major level down is 238 on now. So that is looking pretty interesting there. Yeah. So and then SPY below 200. How about that? Let's take a look at SPY real quick. So yeah, SPY at 248, and very, very possible for it to get there. Let's go and just kind of look and see. So right here we see 234 was the December lows. If we go any farther back, we're going to go a little bit farther back here. And that's the thing with volatile markets, is they can really go if things are kind of crashing. It's kind of interesting how this is happening too, because it's not like a flash crash. It's like very, very controlled. It's like, move to the next level, move to the next level, move to the next level, right? Halt for a little bit, the last couple of days, move to the next level. So next level, that's that major, that's your December low right there. Then you've got this pivot right here at 209, right? And then all the way 181 is going to be a key level for it to hold. That is the 2016 low right there. So, it's possible. It's possible. So that's below 200. So it is a possibility. So yeah, and I'm glad everybody joined in tonight. So thank you for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. Michael, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at Zoom. Zoom. All right, so let's see. So Zoom getting really tight right here, but it is holding this upward trend line, right? And so it's getting kind of tight right here. It's actually looking kind of bullish. It's almost like doing like a little bit of a pennant type formation right here. So let's see if it can get bullish and get above these levels and maybe try to work its way back up again. We are seeing a lot of cool intraday trades on this one. Some strong moves intraday, especially toward the open, right? So we get here, we get over the key levels and boom, right? Especially if we get over the pre-market levels, here we got a nice, through a couple pre-market pivot right here to get to the upside, give a nice move right there. Occasionally it does give a down day, right? But we are seeing some strength, some relative strength in Zoom. So, and it's been a good Corona play because, hey, just like we're doing now on YouTube, a lot of people now, companies are banning, face-to-face meetings. So Zoom is kind of like that go-to one right now, right? Even though there's plenty of other stuff out there, but Zoom is kind of like the one, right? So that traders take advantage of here. So Work is another one, great one on there. So Work had a miss on earnings today. It's down to like 17 from 21. This is not the time to miss on earnings, guys. It's like stocks are already having a rough go of it, and now this thing is at 17. So it's way below these levels right here. Look at Work tomorrow for a potential downside move. Possible gap gap and go to the downside. In fact, let me add that to the radar for tomorrow. Very, very bearish. Of course, it's going to be on the 15 orb list as well, but we want to keep an eye on that. Give me 1 second here. Friday, I think next week's options, and then yeah, so work. Look at that for a gap and go to the downside. I really like the good pick on that one. Good. All right, let's see what else we got. So we have work, and then Square. Sure, let's take a look. Whoa, Square had an epic run up, and wow, what an epic reversal on this one. My goodness, that thing really took a tumble today. So that is below this major level right here. The next pivot down is like this 49 level, basically right at 49.50. So let's see if it can hold that. If not, oh, it could have more downside, right? So that's the idea there. And yo, good stuff. Hope you had a great day today. Good stuff. So Heather, yep, you're here. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Heather, I always appreciate you being here. And so making dinner and listening, that's fun. Michael, stupid, put money into... Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Thomas, SPY only down 20. Not bad. Yeah, exactly. Not 100 points. SPX we're only down 50 right now, so not too bad. That's actually kind of bullish, right? If we're not down 150 or 200, right? 50 is like, oh, this is not too bad. It's just funny stuff right there. Bagesh, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Boeing. Goodness gracious, guys. So Boeing is unbelievable, right? It is. It's just almost like amazing, right? So there's just the fact that it is just actually, just a huge shooting star, huge volume today. Closing on its lows. This thing is toast, right? It is not only has it had just horrible news since the Max crashing and all that stuff, but it's held up even through all that, through all this mess right here, and finally broke down. But if you look at it, right, it really is kind of like this head and shoulders pattern, right? This kind of extended head and shoulders type pattern right here, just on a larger scale. Right, and so once it finally broke down those levels, it was like, see ya, right? So 102.10 is kind of like a major support level right there. So how crazy would that be to see Boeing back below 100? Amazing stuff. So we're going to keep an eye on it. It has definitely been on the bearish radar almost every day and does give some great setups. Shorting rips on this thing has definitely been the way to go. Good stuff. Reed, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at QQQ. Wow. Okay, so QQQ, again, big momentum shooting star candle, gapping down off of the 200-day moving average. Next level is right here, 169 for QQQ, and then you got it's got its December lows right here at about 148-ish. So something to look at there. Wow. Tracy, good evening. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. NVIDIA, I really like NVIDIA's close today as a bearish close. It's already down 10 points after hours. Look at this, guys. Close below macro trend line. Close below all these minor. This is kind of like your trend box right here. So close below. Also close below the cloud with a shooting star with increased volume. This thing looks like it really wants to test at least the 200-day moving average, which happens to be right at 200. So that could be very interesting too. AYX. AYX, interesting. Lower shadow day is pretty interesting, right? So it kind of held up here in this prior congestion zone. So that's kind of neat. So it found some buying pressure in here. That's actually kind of a positive sign on this one a little bit. So let's see if it can hold that. Let's see if it can kind of hold in here. It might congest for a little bit, just like here for a couple weeks, and then try to work its way up, try to get into that gap up there. And then AMD. AMD, wow, that's another one really, really weak. Closed below all its trend line pivots right here. Big volume, right? 200-day moving average is right below as well. So possible target. So good stuff. Alex, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Vert versus SPX. So let's take a look. So VIRT. So we held here. So we have the wow, this kind of looks like a reverse cup and handle pattern right here, right, that it failed to break out of. Came right into some upper shadows right here. It did hold its ADMA today, so that's a good a positive sign for it. It's had a nice move up recently, so let's see if it can continue to hold that, right, and get back above, just kind of get above these pivot levels right here. It rejected those levels last time, but if it can get above here and get strong and get green and get some volume, right, it can try to start to work its way up there. But Vert's definitely been pretty interesting right there. And the SPX, Kind of the opposite, right? So basically the same thing right here. Wow, SPX just closing like right on its lows. It really looks like it wants to test that pivot down below. So amazing stuff on this one. Wow, down 9% today. 13% would have given us a another halt before 3:25 today on the Eastern time. Crazy stuff. Matthew, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Mason, yeah, isn't that wild? Michael, yeah, so doomsday algos. I know exactly. It's just nuts. Bagesh, yeah, my pleasure. Sumit, what's going on? Thoughts on defense stocks? Yeah, like LMT, Raytheon. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, there's, it's funny. Like, even there's like war stuff going on out there. Right? There was like rockets being fired, what, in like Iran, Iraq, and hitting like U.S. stuff, and it's like that's like obviously it's just adding fuel to the fire on this thing. But the stuff that does tend to be strong during that is the is your defense sector stocks. But this is not just, it's kind of just, again, a lot of these, most of these stocks, these big name stocks, are all indexed together, right? So when you have these big sell-off, they all get sold off at the same time. So this is an SD candle right here. It is one I would look for a rebound, right? Especially if conflicts continue overseas. We did fill this gap down here, which is pretty interesting. If it wants any more downside, your next level down is like kind of at that 290 level. What a big move down on these guys. So yeah, so we're seeing that one. Raytheon, RTN. Actually finished green today, so that's good. It actually kind of tried to do its job right here. It didn't quite get above that pivot below. It was a little bit worse off in terms of pivots than LMT, but decent, decent attempt to close today. At least it wasn't down 45 like the other one. And then you got General Dynamics, of course. Wow, this has generally been kind of downtrending, but kind of big move down there below its pivot. And then like Northrop Grumman is kind of your other big one right here. Inside, not inside day. It's actually in the shadow right there. Yeah, so another upside right there, but it has a chance to hold that as support. So yeah, so they could be interesting, especially with those kind of international activity. And then Beyond, Tracy, yeah, let's take a look. So Beyond actually traded pretty well today at the morning, right? It kind of gave you a green candle after the gap down, but it had actually some reasonable spreads today. Right, it was actually pretty tradable. So you had this going on right here. You had a nice triangle at the open for a pop to the upside. So just a nice little kind of bread and butter type trade. At the morning. But yeah, so let's see what it does right here. I mean, right now we're looking at spinning top, so it could be, doji sandwich type move to the downside, right? So look at where we are. Back in the old congestion zone. So we're finding some support in those areas right here. So let's see if that continues to hold. If not, we may see a move to the downside on this. So let's see what else we have. We got PEP. See me? Let's take a look. Yep, so Pepsi, again, consumer staples, again, going to these things for safety right now is not the way to go. Most folks are looking at cash right now, right? So we are below the downward trend line right here. So let's see if that, what it decides to do. Maybe we'll start to get some stability or at least some chopping around a little bit to see if it could get some compression to expand to the upside. Would be kind of nice. But everything, if it does, it's probably going to be like a bear flag for a little bit. And then DHT, wow, look at this one here. DHT Holdings, that was a pretty decent one right here. Nice close above the bow tie, right? This is a definite area of interest. So let's see if that continues to hold. It didn't have a lot of volume today, but I like how it closed above these. Just watch out, you're going into some cloud resistance here. So, and Alex, yeah, thanks. I thought they looked inverse to each other. Yeah, exactly. They're very, very good. What do I think of Z? Let's take a look. Z is pretty interesting there. Nice little lower shadow. I mean, this has been such a fun one to ride all the way up here. Look how it just kind of rode the ADMA like all the way up for those nice moves after earnings. Faded the earnings gap, faded everything else. Now you got this open gap below, which got filled today. So maybe it's at some support right here. Maybe it's RSI is a little bit oversold, so maybe we can get like a little move down and then try to work its way back up. Folks, I really hope that some stuff eventually gets strong. But in the meantime, we're day trading and finding some nice short ideas right here. It's just it's just tough to see all this stuff. Everybody likes it when the market's strong. I mean, yeah, we're getting some nice fast moves to the downside, but all it does is increase volatility, and it makes it makes swinging really hard with options, right? Because any counter move, even an up move, hurts it even more because it lowers volatility slightly, and then your premiums, it's like walking up a down escalator. It makes it really, really challenging. So we're seeing that as well. So hopefully things eventually calm down. Again, just keep an eye on the VIX too, right? The VIX has been really, really perky here recently. It's up to 76 here, right? So very, very strong moves. We haven't seen this as high as wow, look at that over the 20th. Incredible stuff, right? We haven't seen this as high as that's back to 2015. This is not since the 2008, kind of financial crisis, right? So that we saw that there. If we go back and let's go back a few more years. Let's go back. It's amazing how long ago that was if you think about it. But yeah, so right back here, I believe the high back in 2008. Hold on, where am I? It's 2015. Got to go back to 2008. 11. Let me get these volatility. 89.53 was basically the high there in the financial crisis, and we're really really close to that. So eventually this thing is going to be an epic short, right? Shorting the VIX or shorting the VXX products. I don't know, maybe 100 is going to be its limit, right? And that would be a good area to maybe start trying to put on a short position on the VIX. But volatility is here to stay really until until we can get something good going on with this Corona stuff. You know, I mean, just is what it is. So. Alex, yeah, futures currently negative again. I know, it's continuing to go. It's like, so anyway, so VIX seems like the most bullish one that's out there, right? You asked earlier about the, what looks bullish on there. And then let's take a look. And any short candidates out there, pretty much anything. NVIDIA, I really liked its closing candle. We're seeing a lot of those type of momentum shooting stars with volume. So NVIDIA is going to be on the radar. Boeing, the usual suspects, the airlines, the cruise ships, casinos, things like that. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at here, guys. So, well, it's Thursday, guys. Tomorrow's Friday. It's the last day of the week. I think everybody could use a weekend. So I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody stays really well. Oh my goodness, the Canadian Prime Minister's wife got corona. Wow. Yeah, love. I mean, all that's love is actually a little bit. Samit, love's a little bit harder to trade with options. You can kind of get stuck in a little bit. But let me get this cleaned up right here. There we go. You can get stuck in a little bit, but if you hold it for the long term, it can work. But UAL, right, it seems to be like a better one for options, right? United Airlines, AAL sometimes can be pretty good, DAL sometimes. So, but UAL seems to be the best, the most liquid. So that's something to look at right there. So, good stuff. Wow, Thomas, that's crazy. So this is gonna be very interesting, folks. It's all about now, like let's recover from this one. Let's pray for healing out there for the planet, right? And let's get back to living. Instead of worrying. So let's just pray that comes soon. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening tonight. Get some rest. We're gonna have another awesome trading day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. So get some rest and let's enjoy the day tomorrow and stay healthy and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon. And thank you again, everybody, for your support.